Tony Hawkins has got a podcast. I hope he's better at this than he is washing the kit because he was fucking useless.
Right, episode 4, series 2 or season 2, if you prefer.
I'm going back
Well,
serious.
I see. I'm warming to season.
Yeah,
'cause
season's
it sounds
easier.
better, and as in football season. So
Yeah,
I'm prepared to accept that Americanism for not being an American.
Either or me, I'm easy going when it comes to seasons.
So, 2 games to talk about.
At last!
2 football, actual
Proper that.
football, and 2 pretty good results. Although one of those games wasn't much of a spectacle, it has to be said. But the end result made it feel a whole lot better. So we start with Shrewsbury.
Yeah, let's go. Chronological order, Tony. You better introduce our
Oh,
special
and
guest.
tonight we are joined. John Samuel's come along to give us his
Unique take on last night.
Match review as he was there.
Good evening, everybody.
We were in the Red Dot Bar.
Well, it was great.
Yeah.
I think we had the best
decent,
result.
actually.
It was a good night, I must
I
admit.
still get freaked out when people
You can't beat the live
clap.
action. You can't beat the live action, boys.
Yeah, I'm never going back there. Never. Not a chance.
We'll talk about that later on, but I bet you're glad, eh?
Oh, no, not for me. So, Shrewsbury came to town.
Shrewsbury was alright.
Shrewsbury, now officially known as Shrewsbury.
No, I'm calling them Shrewsbury then.
Oh, all right.
The Shrows, I call them.
The Shrows.
The Shrows.
So, I'm summing it up pretty much in that 2 very good defences cancelled each other out, pretty much, with not a lot else going on in between.
I thought that we looked really rusty, like as if we were nowhere near up to speed as to where I think we'll be in probably less than a month. If you take how we were last night, after the first 15-20 minutes last night, I thought either they tired, we'll talk about them obviously later on, but they either tired or we got much better.
Yeah.
But I thought on Saturday we just didn't get any better as the game
Well, it's still
proceeded.
got that disconnect between the midfield and the front 2, with the front 2 spending far too much time, in my opinion, facing their own goal rather than facing the opponent's goal. But there wasn't really anything to talk about. There was the penalty incident, which Joe Walsh reckons was a penalty.
What, outside when Mitty? No.
In the penalty area, when he was
I thought
waiting
you
for the
meant-
ball to come down. I said no at the time, and I was sat with a referee who agreed. Joe turned into the bloke. If he'd have just stood there and waited for the ball to come down to header it, I think the
that
bloke
was
still would have shoved him in the back.
Appalling referee, wasn't it? I just remembered him, that fat bloke.
Oh, he was a big lad.
It was
Wasn't he? He was a big
Mr.
lad.
Huxtable. Mr.
Yeah.
Huxtable, yeah.
He's had a good summer, hasn't he?
God, he
he's,
likes I am.
Yeah, with regards to Shrewsbury, my take, and I call it Shrewsbury as well, John.
Yeah, that's how it's Tony Hawkins.
That's what I said, Shrewsbury.
Oh, I'm saying
You're the one to say
Shrewsbury. then.
Shrewsbury now.
I'm confusing myself now.
No, Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury. I thought we started quite brightly. The first 5-10 minutes we looked pretty sprightly, and then it all went to what normally happens at home. We start and we can't get that goal, and then we start to, panic and start to play long balls again. That's what I felt in the first.
We need that link up between the midfield and the front 2, and if that means taking one out of defence, because we did it last season at Luton, we did it at St Neots when Louis dropped into that position, and it didn't work so great at Luton because the ball just kept bypassing him. But we do need something in there, or we need to find the width to be able to get to stretch the other team, because it wasn't that difficult for either team to defend on Saturday.
I thought it was, well, obviously I was happy with one, but if it had been 0 each at the end of the day, you would have thought that would have been a fair reflection of
I think
what the game went.
everybody had resigned.
It wasn't a
themselves.
particularly
You'd have walked away from that thinking,
performance, was it?
first game of the season, they're rarely classics.
Yeah.
You get what you expected from that, but the bonus.
I'll tell you what I expected. Evan.
Ebanks.
I expected him to score a goal, Tony.
Yeah, and
Well, he didn't disappoint
He
us.
didn't disappoint.
He obliged.
He was no better than he was when he was here.
The ball from Healy as well. I mean, it wasn't hit very hard, and the keeper had it covered, and Ebanks did Agent Ebanks.
If it had been if it had been against us, you would have just been thinking, "Oh, for God's sake!" But it wasn't, Tony.
It wasn't.
So
It wasn't. The thing is,
and I was pleased.
Healy got that wrong in so many ways. He cut in to curl it into the top corner. He was leaning to the right. He didn't get any power into it.
No, it wasn't
the
a great.
keeper had it.
It wasn't
I'm
a
just
thunder
wondering,
bastard, was it?
Did the keeper give Ebanks Landau a shout?
What?
Because
Knock it in, mate.
keeper's ball. Because if he didn't give him a shout, you have to wonder why Ebanks Landau headed it.
why?
But then it is Ebanks Landau. So
When you see it, like again, because I've watched it on bloody whatever on the internet, and he does make an effort to hit it. It didn't come off him. He does make. He's hit it. It's not just knocked off him as like a shot.
that's the thing.
That's ricocheted off.
It was. He went in to head it, and it went in the net off his head. Sounds simple, but at the same time, this is an experienced defender who is good in the air and good with his head. So how did he not manage to just clear that? I don't. Unless it was.
Don't forget, he made our worst ever Milton Keynes Dons 11. That bloke.
He did. Yeah.
Sure did.
He was appalling when he was here, and he was no
Timberland.
better at the weekend. He was shit. Has he signed for them permanently? He's not on loan, is he, from someone better?
I don't think so.
I think he's now left Wolves.
No,
I'm sure he's signed.
That's what it
I
is.
was
He's
quite
not very
surprised
good.
to see Morrison play for them because, with all due respect to Shrewsbury, I'm sure there were a few other clubs that would have been interested in having him. Even at his age, he still looked dangerous.
He's handy.
effective.
He's a good hold-up player, isn't he? He's strong in the air, and
he will score goals for him. He will score.
Yeah, I
goals.
mean, he's a good.
He'll score goals.
I wouldn't have someone like that here, but he's. Yeah, he
I mean,
wasn't
you look
crap,
at
was he?
someone like
Is he on loan?
Alan
He's-
Smith or Kevin Gallen that we had. They weren't exactly young, but
No.
they'll always do a job for you.
Yeah, they're the sort of players that have got. Their brain is still like a football brain, whereas their body's probably about 2 or 3 yards behind.
The Paul Scholes effect.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Their body's 2 or 3 yards behind what their brain's telling them to do, and he's just one of those blokes, isn't he? Him.
Yeah.
And they were all right. I mean, I tell you who let me down.
God.
Callum Britton, man, he was just appalling.
No.
Do you know what?
No, do
Weirdly,
you know what? I was waiting for this to come up. I mean,
I've not
can't
disappointed you,
believe
you know?
the amount
Of vitriol he's
of
got.
stick he's been
It's
getting
one game.
on the forums, and
He's been written off after one game. That
unbelievable.
I know-
If you'd have
um,
seen the guy last night, mate, him and Poole.
Did
Oh, yeah.
Last
Was
night.
it- what did I say
linking
to
up.
you last night?
He
I
was man of
said,
the match for
what
us.
did I
Linking
say?
up, honestly,
I
he was
genuinely did say to
absolutely-
Tony, I said, see him, you got to take him off because he's so up for this game that he's like flying. Remember I said to you, I said, if I was Tiz,
And
I'd
he was
take
doing.
him off.
He was doing the little. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody who, because when I saw that thread, I just thought, oh, here we go. Following on
The
from
new
the
Daniel Powell.
Yeah,
They
this
always
is-
need someone.
Maybe
People
you,
need
Daniel
a
Powell.
figure that
You know,
they don't
it's
like, and it's him.
It's like last year's throw-ins, moaning about the camera angle.
Yeah.
You got nothing positive to say.
you know.
We've won a game. No, let's just
And
go
the
on
and the manager keeps him on, right,
Yeah.
for the whole game. And last night he gives him another 90 minutes.
Yeah, I thought he was.
So
You
He-
don't want to
in
jump the
fair-
gun, but last night he was.
It was an absolute
He was
monster
great
last night.
night. But he was shit on Saturday.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game
he
Saturday.
wasn't
but
he wasn't at his best Saturday.
None
but
of
he
them
wasn't
were,
shit.
John. There is,
He's had
you
a
know.
he's had a very good pre-season.
yeah,
And
anybody who
one
saw, I saw four out of five. Was
I
it?
think he scored.
He scored the
I
most
think he
goals
scored
of
four
anybody.
goals,
I think
four-
he scored
four
four,
goals,
and
I
he was
think he scored.
excellent again.
I know
in
it's
pre-season.
pre-season and I know it's against
Yeah.
non-league, but
Yeah, I said results don't matter, performances don't matter.
No.
But he did stand out in pre-season
Yeah.
as our best player in pre-season.
I suppose the bright spark, the bright shining light from Saturday would be Boateng, I would imagine.
Oh, he
He had a
was
good
great,
game.
wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
really good.
I mean, it was very difficult to
very-
pick anybody out.
What
who
was that
had
guy
an
last night we were
outstanding
slagging
game.
off, that number 9?
Bowery. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to spark into
Jordan,
life.
yeah,
It
yeah.
just seems to be.
He
he's
did
like-
last night for about 2 minutes.
you know what he
didn't
reminds me of? The drunk bloke kicking the hat in front
Jabbo
of him.
Beery.
Do you know what? That's twice. Someone's mentioned that. Someone mentioned to me last night that he's just a poor man's Jabbo.
What did I say to you last
look
night? I
at
said
him.
exactly the same
He's a
thing.
shit Jabbo
Yeah.
Beery. You
He
said.
just reminds me.
You
yeah,
said
it's
something
all-
like, he's Jabbo Beery without all the skills. or
without the
something,
skills and the goals. He reminds me, or the carrot and the stick. So he's never going to get to the carrot,
No.
but he keeps chasing it.
Yes.
Right, but
Are you trying to say he's a donkey to him?
well, it just looked like he was the maybe 90%
yeah.
effort I could be right. Could be spreading
He was-
face,
I
but-
think I'd give him 100% for effort.
But he chased and chased and chased,
Oh, yeah, but-
and
well-
didn't actually win anything, or
He had 100% for effort, but his ability was
lacking.
he lacks the ability of a footballer. I mean, like you say, it's the first game. I've seen him in 2 games now, so you think, you know.
But I did
It's the first
say
couple
again
of
in
games.
pre-season, again, performances results don't matter. But he stood out for me as a player who
Was a bit shit.
was not really. I mean, that it's an important position. He's the big man up top. He's the one that you're going to be putting the long balls up to for heading down to Kegs or whoever's around that area. But you know, he wasn't winning headers either.
You can't take anything after 2 games. I mean,
No,
the
but
majority
again,
of people,
more
and
than,
that's
more
me
than happy
included,
to,
I've seen this team twice this season so
Yeah.
far. The majority of people are making decisions on what happened Saturday.
Yeah.
I bet you had, you know,
which was a terrible game.
yeah, it was.
well.
I mean, how many people seen last night's game? Really, you know, be honest. What less than well, I'd say probably in total, including the people that were there, a good bit less than 3,000 people.
Well, there were
Yeah,
2,191
but
at the
yeah,
game.
you've got guys all
So
over
I'd
the
say
internet.
300 there.
2,000, wasn't it?
2,191, yeah.
2,191.
But you've got guys all over the internet saying that, you know, they're all crap. You think you've seen one. The majority have seen one
But you
game.
have to remember this is our fans. We're
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
about.
And remember,
You know?
we have another guy who's not even made an appearance yet, Mason, who's...
Didn't like him in pre-season.
I don't think...
So everything
Although,
we've just said.
So Neat's first half, he was all right. So
I think
So everything we've just said about other players, yeah, but he's shit.
everything's shit.
well, we got to trust the manager. You know, he's not going to bring these guys in if he thinks they're shit. He obviously sees something. And last night, I know if we're going to move on to last night's game, I don't know if you want to at this stage, but Ryan Harley, I thought he had an exceptional game.
He
trying
looked
to
all
think-
right. Yeah, he looked all right.
Of
He
anything.
did everything that he needed to do. He slowed the game down when he wanted. He won ball.
He's never
He played lovely.
yeah, he's
passes.
got a lot to prove. That guy.
Do you know?
to me,
Do you know? What I think
before
he's finally realised.
that he's a bit shit.
Well, he's a bit shit at doing what he was doing previously.
Yes.
Is that he now in very much the same? Because as far as I can tell, and it is a different manager and it's a totally different player, but he's there to play the Darren Potter role. Maybe a little bit more advanced than Darren Potter used to play, and that means not chasing after the ball. That means either receiving the ball as you're turning onto goal, or if you do want to go and get it, you pick it up deep, or you're just ready there for the ball to come to you. He shouldn't be chasing the ball around, which is what he seemed to do in pre-season. And
You don't know
a lot
though,
of
Tony,
last
if
season.
that's what he was told to do. You think we slag guys off, but we don't know the instructions they've been given.
But just looking at that
No.
position he's playing, I'm thinking to myself, why is he chasing the ball when? And I've seen him in training. I don't know if you've seen training set up in the last since Tisdale came in.
Yeah.
And Ryan Harley goes into that in training in exactly the same place as Darren Potter used to go in training.
Yeah.
Exactly. He stood behind the entire. So effectively, it was attack against defence.
He's not a
sort of
great
thing.
player, that guy, but he's good enough at what he does.
Yeah, and I think last
Which is-
night showed
Yeah,
that
but
what
sure.
he can do, and he slowed
He
his
was
game,
good
he
last
slowed
night.
his game down a bit,
yeah.
basically.
He wasn't
running
good
around and
initially.
stuff.
He got better as the game went on.
You
Yeah.
should have heard. You should have heard the groans and the moans
When his name was
when the
announced.
team was announced.
He should have heard it when we went.
When we
Oh,
saw
no.
when we saw the team announced on Twitter, we were in the ground by this time,
Yeah.
and the amount of people that walked past said, "Oh, you didn't want to win this fucking game, then."
Yeah. Well, I said
Obviously, we don't want to. We don't want to go any further in
we know
this
he's a
cup.
decent player. We saw him QPR all those years ago in that 4-2 when we had him on loan. So again, this is what you said earlier is absolutely spot on. Managers aren't going to sign players if they're shit. They have got something. They do choose a player.
He must have a role in mind for him
Yeah.
to do.
I think Tisdale does have, as I said before, every manager does seem to have that one player that they always go to. And do you remember Martin Allen had that shithouse, didn't he? The winger,
Who?
what was his name? Johnny Hastings.
Johnny Hayes.
Yeah, 1066.
Oh,
and
man,
it,
Oh, Mr.
Right.
Hastings.
he was fucking awful.
He was appalling.
He was
wasn't
awful for us, and then Martin Allen went to Leicester and signed him immediately. Now, obviously,
Not
Martin
Mr.
Allen
Hastings
saw
either.
something in him that the rest
Yeah,
of the
I
planet
suppose.
and humanity did not see. But,
Players do tend to. I mean, managers do tend to take players with them when they go, don't
yeah,
they?
they see
Seems to be a
something in
thing.
them, and they it might mean that they spend 10 years going, all right, yeah, I've got it wrong in the end, and he didn't quite achieve his potential. But yeah, there won't be professional footballers for a start if they weren't good enough. As simple as that. And
yeah, because I mean, how many guys,
oh, actually,
go through it?
I don't know if you've been following the Callum Britton thread on.
I've not. No.
On the concrete
not
roundabout
read it
today,
at all.
but it's been locked.
Was it? Yeah, but it's been locked for
Well, it got a
two
bit
guys
heavy, it got a
arguing
bit
about
really,
Brexit, wasn't it?
You know what makes me laugh? One bloke's talking about.
It got a bit heavy.
if
Master's degrees and everything.
Yeah, he said, well, if you're going to get personal and insult me, and this is the same bloke who was sending private messages to someone abusing them, which apparently is all right. If you do it by private message, you can abuse people, no problem at all.
Really? I'm going to do
So
that
I
tonight,
reckon that fella's got pictures of the bloke who runs the forum, because
right, okay.
he is just so
Maybe it's one in the same
boring, and I don't know if he's a wind-up merchant or not, but whatever it is, he's very good, because he annoys me immensely. He talks most amount of shit.
Yeah, you see people on the internet, they're never like they are in real life, are they?
Yeah, and then when they come
Definitely
up with,
not.
I've got a master's, you're in trouble and you're not going to win an argument.
If someone
with,
starts
someone
bringing
like
out, the degree card, then you've won.
Yeah. What's he got? It doesn't say what he's got it in, but a master's is a master's. But he should be impressed by anybody who's got a master's.
Yeah. What is a master's?
It's like a really posh degree that
right.
is
it better than a
ridiculously
PhD?
hard. No.
Oh, I know people that have got PhDs.
It's between a degree and a PhD.
Oh, right. On the road to a doctorate, Tony.
Yeah, in that it's the first step to greatness.
Well,
yeah.
good for him.
Yeah. So if he gets a PhD or gets a doctorate, then we'll be impressed. But
So what we're saying then?
no
Happy
need
with
to bring it up every time you have an argument with someone, mate.
Definitely happy with 3
with
points.
the 3 points.
Absolutely.
Even happier the fact
I said,
that when
I
it
tweeted straight afterwards, what a difference one goal makes. Because
Yeah.
if we'd have come out of that with 0-0, we would have said, like we said,
Yeah,
hold your
fair
hands
enough.
up,
Yep.
it was a 0-0.
Good start to the season.
And we'd have been sat here now for the first 10 minutes of this 15 minutes of this podcast
that was a fair
saying
result.
that was a fair result, but it was a terrible game. It's amazing how one goal can change your perspective.
I've spoken to 3 friends that I know who go to the Dons, and 3 of them missed the goal.
Because they left early.
They left early.
Yeah, there
so
was
it serves them right,
yeah.
and serves anybody right who leaves.
What I was saying to someone at work was that the fact that the goal came when it did, right at the death of the game, coloured your perception of the whole rest of the game, because all you were thinking about was the fact that we'd scored, not that you've sat through 90 minutes of Callum Britton being shit. So.
No.
And the reaction from the bench was great as well. That
What did they do?
Genuine
Jump up?
joy.
Well
Genuine
done.
joy. Yeah, well played, chaps. Well
Well
played.
played.
Yes,
Well done, Ethan. Thanks for that.
And where the referee he added another minute on for the goal. It's only supposed to be 30
He was
seconds.
just a
when he
referee,
kicked off
that
again.
guy.
Yeah, he could do. Me and him should go to the gym
I
together.
don't like-
because he needs to lose
I mean,
a couple of pounds.
We've said that a million times. You're not going to get quality referees at this level, but it's what it is. It's a thankless job. I wouldn't do it. It's a shit job to do.
I personally,
Especially at this level.
I didn't think he was that bad, and a lot of the decisions
God, I
he
thought
got,
he was terrible. mate.
other referees might have given. I mean, Joe Walsh may well have got that penalty. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, and the explanation I gave to the chap I was sat next to, the ref, and he knows the players because he refs all the internal
Good
games,
for him.
and he said, yeah, if Joe had just stood still, waited for the ball to come down, because it was like slow motion, the blokes probably still would have gone through him, nudged him in the back, and that would have, but because Joe sort of turned into him, didn't he? Knowing he was coming, he just turned into him, and it just, yeah.
Well, like I said, 3 points for us, nothing for them.
3 points is 3 points. There was, other than Boateng, there was no real standout.
Nothing. That was nothing.
Shall we do?
But
Shall we do my critique of the Block 11?
Oh,
transaction
yes!
for that game, and
Oh, I'd
John can
forgotten
do one
about
for last night.
Yeah, could I just, before you go into that,
Yeah.
just your thoughts again on the Bury situation? I know you covered it last week, but because now it's getting beyond a bit of a joke now, but I heard the latest on Twitter, it was only about an hour ago I looked at it.
I've not seen that.
The latest was that someone has definitely offered to buy the club and has made the offer to Mr. Dale, and
Who
they're
hasn't
hoping,
accepted it,
and the tweets come from the players and the staff.
Yeah, I
of
read
Bury.
that last night.
Yeah.
That they said, we urge you to sell the club. There was a statement on their website last night saying, we urge you to accept this offer. I don't know what to say.
So,
I mean, we covered it.
I mean, because the game
ago,
again,
didn't we?
obviously the game again this weekend's been called off.
Yeah, so is it now
That's
four?
That's
Four games.
yeah.
Well, it's 3 league
I mean, they
games.
Three
can't-
league
they
games
can't-
and a cup
and a
game.
cup
You
game.
can't let this go on much
No.
longer.
No,
because
indefinitely they can't.
There's not an infinite amount of Tuesday games.
No, there isn't. That's the other problem. I
And
mean, it's
as-
bad enough
as
for us.
Albie
Now you've
pointed
got
out-
another 2.
It'll always be a Tuesday between Saturdays.
Well, he's right.
Yeah,
So
he's absolutely right there.
He was right
Good
with that
analysis.
assertion.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say, John, because, I mean, you've got to trade very carefully where shit like this is concerned. That's why, before I uploaded that last podcast, I genuinely did, like, I fact-checked that, and I'm not joking when I say I fact-checked it 3 or 4 times to make sure that everything I'd said on that was correct and wasn't libelous, and no one was going to
I think
turn
I
around
don't,
and
I
say,
don't, I
"Oh,
don't
you've
think
said this." It was
Anybody
all
will
correct.
really know. I mean, if you look at it from a logical point of view, there's no reason why he shouldn't walk away from that. Is he not walking away because apparently wants money out of it when he sells?
He wants,
Oh yeah.
well, I don't know. I think allegedly he wants more money than he's put into it, but that's an allegation someone's made.
Well,
that
I mean,
won't
sometimes
repeat.
haven't you just got to say, right
Yeah,
it
bad
off,
enough,
let's
you
go.
know. What can I say?
I mean, even if he stays, which he's not going
He's
to,
not. No one wants that guy to stay.
it will be the same situation as Blackpool.
You don't know the
So,
situation though with all these loans.
what's-
You know, I mean, there's a lot of loans taken out against that club. You don't know if that CVA has addressed that or if you know that stuff's still outstanding. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What can I say?
So come September, will Bury still be in the league? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
I think there will be as well.
You reckon
yeah.
that someone will buy
I think,
it?
I think it's now gone too far.
Yeah, I think
For them
I
to
think
say no.
I think they'll still be in the league.
I would be surprised, but you know, I don't know.
And I think the reason for that is that the Football League have now got to the point where they thought, oh fuck, we're going to have to let this go on, because if we expel them now, then this other takeover is...
I'm glad.
But I think that Dale will go, what did you expel us for? I was just about to sell the club.
I'm glad that it's not just us, because with the reputation that we've got, I'm glad that there are 2 other league teams that are involved in this, not just us. If you know what I mean, that have had games postponed. So
Yeah, and the thing is, one of those games, being a cup game, has to be played before Wednesday. When do we play Southend?
28th.
it won't be, will it?
Well, you're thinking
That's the date that the EFL have given them, to the 28th of
there's
August.
games
What
on
date?
Tuesday, isn't there? League games on Tuesday.
When we play Southend. I
Yeah,
think.
and then is it Blackpool they're playing?
Was it the 26th
The
or the
cup game?
28th? I can't remember.
Can't remember, but yeah. You know,
Anyway.
you're then asking
Yeah.
that team that has that cup game to either, well, they're going to have to play it after that date, and it could be on a Thursday, or
Or do they turn around and say, well, the team that you were supposed to play, that Bury was supposed to play in the cup, they get a bye?
oh, that's not a bad
It's a
idea.
good
Kick them out of the
idea,
cup
yeah.
competition.
Kick them out of the cup competition. I think they'd probably be all right with that.
Yeah.
I would have
I
thought
don't
the
know
team
what
they
to
were
say.
playing would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And if they offered us 3 points, oh.
I'd take them. I'd say
Yeah.
thank you for those 3 points.
So,
Not 11.
yes, the first day of, although they are saying obviously that they're
That wasn't
bigging it
a
up
big
for
game.
the AFC. So I started my stopwatch
Go on.
at kick-off, and I stopped it at 12.5 minutes because there was a continuous noise.
Yes.
It wasn't particularly loud, but there was a constant effort to get things
There
going.
was.
About 10 minutes after that, halfway through the first half, it sort of died a death. And in summary, nothing happened in the second half. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because it was the first time. It was a terrible game. There wasn't much to shout about.
And the weather was appalling.
and the crowd was pretty low as well, wasn't it?
What was it? 7,967. Yeah.
Well-
so, I think that's decent. If we can average 8,000 this season, I think that'll be all right.
Allow
We'll
me
build on
my
that.
counter argument, because I thought that they were actually all right. I thought for the first half, like you say, there was a constant noise. It picked up. It was peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
We went into the second half, and I don't know where they were, but they didn't start. They just weren't there for the kick-off of the first half. Then there was sort of half-arsed attempts to go, but I reckon with about 10 minutes to go, then they picked up again.
Yeah.
So, but they were, like they said last week, it wasn't going to be their big game.
Yeah, it's not going to go off straight away.
No.
But
I say good luck to them. I'd
Yeah.
give that. If I was
should-
marking
I
that
should-
out of 10, I would give them 7 out of 10
I
for
should
that.
say that I was approached by Mrs. Cullen on
Oh,
Saturday.
what did she say?
So what's this about my husband and David Brent? I said, that wasn't me. That was nothing to do with me. In fact, I stuck up for him, didn't I?
You did stick up for him.
bigged
You
him
did,
up
Tony.
massively, as I always do.
It was me that was slagging him off, and I had to cut all that
He
out.
could, yeah, clearly, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to win here. I said, but you know, I didn't make that comment. And then up in the bar afterwards, he came and sat down with us, and
Did he push his glasses up his nose?
yeah, well, he took my foot back on it, and he said, we had like a brief mention of it. And I said, yes, your wife came and had a word with me earlier. And then as he was leaving, he said, right, I'm off to be David Brent then. And off he went. But yeah,
well, listen, let's just keep listening.
I should say that he did say that the club are not only fully behind them, but also that they're impressed at the efforts they're putting in.
Yeah, I always are. Consider I was.
Yeah.
I mean, we took the piss out of them, but it wasn't until they turned up here last week that I realised that quite literally they are just kids. I don't think people appreciate how young they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're one of them. You can't even drive. They're not even old enough to drive.
No.
That's pretty young. That is.
That is
I
young.
mean, they got to be like under 17, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a thing to like, because when I was that age, all I was interested in was punk rock and like drinking and women.
Well, that's what's probably wrong with them.
Yeah, that's
what it is.
wrong.
Yeah.
They don't like punk rock. They got a girlfriend and they don't drink.
I actually can't remember anything from the age of 17 to 21.
No, that's for a while. Have we, Tony? Dogs barking.
No, that's not new, but this season it is.
Would you shut up? God's sake, please flow moths.
I don't think we've got any feedback, email or anything.
I've not
this week,
checked
have
it,
we?
to be quite honest. I've been busy today. I've been feeding
No,
horses,
I
Tony.
haven't looked for a couple of hours, but
Go on.
I did forget I have received the tracksuit
Oh,
from Dean
right.
Newton now. So
We'll have to
we'll
come
have
up
to
with a good
think of a
competition for that.
question. We'll have to think of a question for you all to answer
Something
to win
good.
this tracksuit. I might chuck in because you gave me some other stuff to do.
Yeah,
so
but
I might
we're
chuck
going
in
through that
some-
first.
Yeah, so
Don't
John's
forget
going to go for it first.
we had that conversation last night, didn't we?
Yeah, none of it will fit me. So
No.
John's going to rifle through the bag
well,
first, and then
Sell
we'll,
it on
we'll
eBay.
pick out. Yeah, it's certainly well worn. That's for sure. I don't know
Okay,
where he
well.
keeps getting this stuff. This is a third bag of stuff he's
Yeah,
given me.
good.
So, but it's all good for the old competition
So
prizes.
we'll think of a
obviously.
competition.
Yeah, so we'll think of a question. We'll think of something stupid to ask you that you can't possibly get right.
Yeah. And then we'll keep the goodies.
Yeah,
Everyone's
and
a
no one will
winner.
win.
Right, shall we move on to last night?
Yes, right. John's going to give us his.
John was there, he'll give us a summary
first-hand
first.
view.
Yeah, turned up at the stadium yesterday afternoon about 3:15 with my...
What, here? Milton Keynes, not there. Oh, thank God for
no,
that.
Milton Keynes, Stadium MK. Yeah, I turned up about 3:15 with my son-in-law's little boy, well, lad, and eventually rolled off the tarmac at Stadium MK about 4:15.
Oh, that's an hour.
Was it?
Everyone was queuing for the tickets
Una
at
told
the
me
windows.
it was like 4:05.
No, it's 4:15 when we headed out of the KFC drive. But to no avail, we got onto the motorway and we had a great journey up. We were actually in Kingston around about 6:10, and they took us into a car park.
Same place as last time.
No, it was a different place, I think, Tony. It was into like an industrial unit place or a retail park.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's where we went two years ago.
Yeah, into a retail park. Everybody got off the bus.
All right, let you off.
Everybody was off the bus, and within about 20 minutes, I'd say, quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, we were all loaded back onto the bus, escorted with the police down to the front of the ground, and
Oh, I'm laughing, Tony.
yeah, and there was police dogs,
What's up?
police
Oh, I like
vans,
dogs, me.
riot vans, riot shields, police with riot helmets, the lot.
God's sake.
Well, after last year, I'm not surprised.
Eventually got into the ground and sat around to wait for the team news, and when that came through, that's when I said everybody was, oh, that's it, we don't want to win this cup then. Obviously Tisdale doesn't want to win this cup, we might as well go home now.
What
But
was the
as
atmosphere
you know,
like for them when they started coming in? What was the atmosphere? Did it
Well,
deteriorate quite quickly?
when we got in, there was hardly any AFC
Yeah.
fans in there at all, as you can imagine, because we
Yeah.
were so early getting in there. But the atmosphere at their end, I think it's called the what's the end that they've got, the
Bell End?
They got some end named after a toilet
That's it.
removal company.
toilet removal
Yeah,
company.
that cleans. You know,
yeah.
like portable toilets.
Yeah.
They come and clean your
I
portable.
can't-
You know,
I can't-
nice.
yeah.
you know those things you get on building sites,
Not
and
the Portabog
yeah,
stand or something.
Portaloo things. The
Nice.
Portaloo end, it's called something like that. Is that where they all congregate, all the idiots?
Yeah.
Well, they're all
behind
idiots,
the goal,
aren't
behind their goal,
Yeah.
yeah, behind their goal. But one thing that's obviously it's been quite a popular topic today on the forums was the alleged assault.
they? Can we keep this stuff until after we talk about the game? Because
Yes.
we've said before, the only time we're ever going to talk about them and disparaging things is when we play them. So
Yeah.
I know I'm not glad what happened last night. I'm certainly not surprised. But if we talk about the game first, and then we'll slag them off after we've finished talking about the game.
Well, obviously you guys were at the beanbag.
We were. It was good, wasn't it, Tone?
It was indeed.
A couple of
You
pints.
guys were at the beanbag. To
Arm
me,
against the bar, arm against the
Yeah.
bar, chatting.
personally
All right.
speaking, being there, I thought it was one of the better atmospheres that I've been there. I've been to 3 games there, and
Yeah.
that last night just seemed to be typical exciting cup tie.
You think it was like a...
It was a good
It
game.
really
Was it
was
a
a
good
good
game? Yeah,
game.
must have
been.
Both teams from the off wanted to go for it and wanted to win
Well,
it. I
we
think.
said that, didn't we?
I don't
I
think
thought, and I said
either
to
of
you-
them wanted to go into the penalties, but as it happened.
I mean, I said to you earlier on before we started recording, I thought for the first 10 or 15 minutes that they were all ours, but
Well,
you
they're
did
further-
then say
yeah.
they'd gone at 100 metres. an hour.
They
can't
got
keep us up.
their first throw in, which was after about 10 seconds.
Mm.
The fella went steaming after the ball and was looking for the quick throw, and I thought that's our game. Maybe they're trying to match us on the speed that we try and play at, and they did. They clearly had a plan to come out at 100 miles an hour
and try and stifle us in the first
and
5
try
minutes, which
stop
didn't
us
work
stop us playing
because
football by
we got a
chasing the ball.
penalty.
Yeah,
Well,
I celebrated that 3 times.
Celebrated
I
when the guy
celebrated
went
it when
down.
it hit the bar and went in, when it actually went in, and then getting a penalty.
And then we got a penalty.
young David again. Little did he know he was going to score a screamer, but the one that he hit, and it hit the underside of the bar before we got the pen.
But see
What
the
a
bloke
cracking shot again.
that I said, this bloke's a bit shit, don't I? I don't fancy him. Was that the same bloke?
It was the same one.
Young
yeah.
David, yeah. One of our own academy lads.
That was an
absolute-
astonishingly bad penalty that he took, that old McCrandles.
Told you it
wasn't
was the small goals. That was the problem.
Obviously gathered. Everybody was amazed when they saw Connor pick the ball up.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I said to my lad,
why not
is-
Agard?
Yeah, why is Agard?
Why is Agard
took
not
the
having the
penalty?
penalty?
Kieran should be taken.
So-
I know he
Well, he
missed
will
a
be
few,
for no
but-
one, I would have thought.
Yeah, that's what we expected, or someday not Connor, because Connor didn't
I've
strike.
always said I would just give Louis the penalties because he'd fuck him right into the top
We
of the
did
net
say, didn't
every
we,
time.
last night, that last penalty at Holstein. I hope it's
Oh,
Louis.
yeah. That would have
When
been
that
great,
went
wouldn't
funny
it?
if he
think-
walked up for the last penalty.
I think most people expected that, but I think there would have been too much pressure on him. Seriously, especially at that ground,
no,
in front of them
not him.
fans, and
Nah.
the
I think
winning.
he would have been alright.
No, Chad, the amount of abuse he got when he went to
got
take corners and
A lot of
and
abuse.
throw-ins.
Remember that bloke pointing at him? That was
and
funny.
Just completely blanked it.
There was
He
one guy giving him a
actually-
right
he
good
actually-
stern telling off.
To a certain extent, he does miss the sort of abuse he used to get.
I bet he
Because
does.
it is also a sign of respect from other
you know
fans.
how good he is.
You know, we used to get it all the time. Oh, fuck that Dean Learnton, he's a wanker. And then in the same breath, they'd say, "But we take him as our left back in a
course we-
heartbeat." I think he does miss the abuse that he used to get.
I
quite
thought-
a lot.
Getting back to them, I was somewhat surprised by how, let's be blunt, how shit they were.
They weren't.
They
They
were
weren't particularly good.
appalling.
Their effort was excellent.
Well, their effort, like I said, for the first 10-20 minutes, they were out
Yeah.
of sight. But I don't know whether they just became devoid of a.
Well, they were
like a
definitely
game plan
capable of
or
pinging it
what.
about. They showed that in the first half, and they were making good angles, particularly on near the 18-yard line, and that's where they're actually more dangerous, is those edge of the area sort of shots and that sort of thing. But they didn't really have a lot else creative-wise. I think that's going to cost them this season.
They've
I think there's
interviewed bloody what's his name, Wally Downs in the Guardian twice this week. They interviewed him on Monday before the game, and then he was interviewed again like last night directly after the game. But the one on Monday, he was saying that bloody people think we're a long ball team, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way I like to play. And I'm thinking, you like to play a system that was discredited 30 odd years ago because it's a shit system, mate. He lined up last night 4-4-2. No one lines up 4-4-2 nowadays. They just don't, Tony.
No.
He is. They've got that guy as their manager because of who he is, not because of what he can do.
Yeah.
You think to yourself, are you guys just a glorified like protest movement? Because you had. I mean, my lad said it last night to you, didn't he? He goes, I'm not nervous because these have got nothing. Just about 2 seconds before they equalise.
Well,
but
he said it about 15 times as well. This is done. We can go home now.
Yeah.
And then they scored.
But they had nothing, Tony.
What you said there is
night.
absolutely spot on. The same as when QPR brought in the Bristol fella.
Bloody
Holloway.
Yeah.
When QPR brought Holloway back, they did that for one reason, as far as I'm concerned. One reason only. That was because it was a familiar face.
Yeah.
He's a QPR legend, and I think they did the same with Wally Downs. They knew they were in trouble. They needed someone to come in who would maybe distract the fans. You know, a bit.
What
of
they needed, Tony,
whatever,
they needed someone to take the heat off of them. Basically, to take the heat off of the, I don't even know if they've got a board.
Keeping them
so they got
with
someone in,
miracle,
yeah,
really.
Yeah, it was because I mean I didn't see them at all last year, so I don't know if last night was representative of how shit they were, but they were poor last night.
Well, there was a point.
And I'm not just saying that because it's them.
There was a point where they were 12
good.
points off safety last season, was it?
Yes.
And they pulled it
done
back.
well. They done well.
That was an amazing recovery.
Yeah. But if they stay up this year, I mean, well, I've seen 2 league teams this year. I've seen Shrewsbury, and that's 3. And them, so I've seen Wimbledon as well. But I mean, them last night, I know it's a cup game, and cup games, I don't even know if that was their first team. But for someone to be in a national newspaper extolling the virtues of playing the long ball game in a 4-4-2 setup, you're thinking it's 2019, mate. It'll soon be. You know, the 1920 season's kicked off. You're extolling the virtues of something that, you know, was like crap in 1986, and yet you think that's the way to go. It's not, mate.
It was the 2 men up front, the big lad,
which they did have.
Big John Gale, as it used to be at Northampton.
Who fit up to him?
For a
Him
few
and that was
seasons.
it. They were.
Yeah.
They did start
He
off.
hit a nice penalty though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, they had one to practice, didn't they? I mean, yeah. Let's talk about Lee. I mean, flipping egg.
Yeah.
You know, he was a great game.
Well, I had him down. I when on the official website, our official website, they put who's your man of the match, and I actually putLee down as my man of the match.
So did you put?
Because if it hadn't have been for him, we would have probably got.
You put Callum.
Callum, Callum by some distance.
I would have given
but
it
Lee
to
did have a very
Callum
good game. And
a lot of people went for Poole. Regan Poole.
He was alright, yeah.
He was great.
So was that young lad who I said was shit.
Again, other than Bowery, who was relatively ineffective for me.
Well, he was anonymous.
Well.
They both were.
That's what I mean.
Because we attacked down the flanks.
There is that disconnect, and it makes players like that look bad. And Kieran keeps getting dragged out wide. I mean, it happened a couple of times on Saturday where balls were going across the box and there was no one in the 6-yard box. You know, if you've got 2 men up front, either at least one of them's got to be right in that area, haven't they? And you can't drag out your centre forwards for that wide play.
It's a discipline to
if
play
it's an
that
outlet,
system.
if it's a good outlet. But if you're going to do that, then there has to be that.
You have to have a certain amount of discipline.
You have to have that backup coming in, someone coming in from behind. That would be Callum was doing it quite a lot in pre-season. Yeah. Callum scored off the top, mate. I can think of 2 goals that he scored, sort of inside right-hand side of the 18-yard box,
exactly,
where he was coming in just at the right time. I mean, if that's part of his game, if that's part of his talent,
he's bulked up a lot. I'll say that.
You know, that Frank Lampard do it, and Scholes used to do it, where and Gerrard, they just appear in the right place at the right time. Delhi was good at that.
Steven Gerrard. We've got to stand up and use this name.
Yeah, up you go. Now, Delhi was good at that as well. Delhi would just appear.
Yeah,
or
whatever
happen
happened
to be
to
in
him?
the right
Where
place.
is he now, Tony? He can't even get a game at Spurs.
He's in London somewhere. He can't even play.
Sits in the bloody stands looking at.
Put him in my fantasy league.
Injured.
Cursed him immediately.
I'll tell you what I said to my lad at the weekend, because he does it, and I said, what would happen if you put the England squad as your first as your fantasy team? How well would they do? Just throwing that out there.
I think you could probably get that information quite easily.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to build that team in fantasy league because you would never have enough money to
Not
do
have
it.
enough money, right? I don't play these
Yeah,
games.
you're on a budget.
I'm too old, me.
Otherwise, everybody would use the England team, wouldn't they?
I'm just saying how they would do. I wouldn't use the England
I wouldn't
team.
know, would I?
You wouldn't have Mo Salah running up the wing.
No, I'd go with.
You would have Jordan Pickford as your goalkeeper. You're an idiot. That's why you're not a football manager, mate.
True, yeah. I don't even know who's in my fantasy team.
Yeah,
I got bored after picking the first 2
Well,
players and then clicked random choice.
I'm just saying, how would they do? But anyway, that's going off.
Yeah, I think we should find out. Someone find out for us.
Well, I got 95 points this week.
Ooh.
That was the highest in the country, I think, wasn't it? 95 or was it 96?
95 I got.
I think got 45.
Some people have had.
I can't.
Are you on?
I'm on the Fantasy Premier League.
Oh no, FPL. You're not on FPL then.
What's FTL?
FPL, Fantasy Premier League.
Nah, I'm not
Yeah,
into
that's what I
it.
just said. Fantasy Premier League.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that one.
100 mil to spend.
Cool, Tony. I just
No, I
pocket
can't.
that.
No, I think it's 50 actually.
I'd
Oh,
pocket
I
that.
don't know.
Different one. Anyway.
But yeah, that's a good score, 95. I got 45 and I wasn't trying.
So what
I'm
we're
quite
saying,
happy
back
with
to
that.
the game.
Yeah, so what was the atmosphere like actually?
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a difficult one because it's
We had-
because of the
Yeah.
whole
280
stuff that goes with it.
fans.
It's all right,
and
considering
we
how
made a
difficult
great,
it was to get there.
made a great noise. As I said, it really was an exciting game. One of the best games I've seen there. I've been to 3 of them. Even when we had that little stand when it was jam packed the first time. The atmosphere last night seemed a lot more. I think it's because our lads were nearer their fans as well, which created.
How many times have we played them now? Is it
That
7?
was the 8th
We've
time
played them
last
at their
night.
place 3 times.
So we've won twice, lost once there.
They beat us in
Nielsen
the cup.
beat-
They beat us in the cup at Stadium MK when they
Once.
had the big fella.
Yeah.
Akinfenwa.
Yeah.
They
That
beat
was
us in
the
cup.
8th time
So
we played them.
6 times, 5 we've won, 1 we've drawn, and 2 we've lost.
Yeah. All right, that's not bad, right?
Yeah, we've lost at home
We've-
and away.
We've beaten them 5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. That's right.
It was difficult because we were watching it on a telly basically. You couldn't, and I did say to you earlier on that what's his name's goal looked alright, but when you actually seen the replay on a proper like screen, I did when I come home, I thought that's a cracking goal. But you didn't get that, did you? On that at the beam back, how good that was. I mean,
Yeah.
the camera angles were shit. Basically,
You don't
but
get
it
the
was
you
what
don't
it
get the
was.
depth.
You
do
didn't get it.
You don't
now.
get it, and the penalties looked a lot easier. Well, they look like they should have been saved.
Yeah.
Simply because you don't get that depth, and
Yeah.
particularly the ones that it looked like they just went over Lee, but I'm imagining that they were actually a lot higher.
I mean, one of their penalties, we said it last night, was a belter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right up into the corner. I thought no one
hit the
saved
side
him now.
netting, didn't he? That
Yeah,
was, one of
cracking
them as
penalty.
well.
And I've got to apologise to David because I called him David Kasumo instead of Kasumu.
Let's just call him.
Definitely.
And
Kasumu.
on the
I'm calling him Dave.
on the video that I posted on Twitter, which has got over 2,000 views now,
Good on.
but it's captured at the right time.
Oh, was that yours from the touchline?
Yes.
Yeah, actually very good. You were quite lucky to get that.
Yeah.
Can't see
Cool.
it being up there much longer.
It
when
was from the
copyrights
corner,
take
wasn't it?
but-
From the corner, and we just
Yeah.
kept filming it.
Mm.
So it was a great
Yeah.
moment.
So what do you
And,
reckon then?
He thought they were going to close him down. They're not closing him down. They're not
No.
closing him down. And he thought.
And he almost
"Might
looked
as well have
surprised when it went in.
it." Yeah,
Yeah.
and
They
then we
were,
had almost identical shot that was saved, wasn't there?
That was the one that led to the penalty in the first half.
Yeah.
He smashed it against the
He
bar.
did. Correct.
No, there was another one where someone was edging along the edge of the area, and I thought he's going to pick. Oh, was it Bowery?
No, Bowery had a
Yeah,
great shot.
Yeah,
That was saved.
that was good save. Yeah,
And who else had a
That was
shot?
quite near the end, remember?
yeah,
Yeah. Because that was the only good thing he done.
literally. Yeah, that was.
I-
So I reckon, in summary, talking about the
Dylan
game. before-
came on, but was very isolated as well. He didn't seem to get
don't
involved.
recall him touching
No, I
it
don't
at
even
all.
remember.
Very,
bringing
very
him on.
I remember him kicking.
Frustrating
someone,
for him. He obviously, you could see that he really wanted to get involved, but that nothing ever came. That was when they were really pushing and pressing us back. So the ball wasn't.
Yeah, they had
getting
their
to-
spell in the second half, didn't they? Their 10, 15
We were a bit
minutes.
naive in the last few minutes because we had the ball. We were down there. We were down our own, and,
Just
and,
a kick
and
to
Actually,
down.
yeah,
of course.
A few seconds
Louis
before
tried.
it
Louis
was down
tried
there.
a fancy back heel.
Yeah.
Which went out of play, gave them the ball. Then
Yeah.
they went back up the park. Then and that's when that led to their goal.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
giving a stupid ball away.
It was disappointing when it
Back.
went in, but even then, when we were going up to do those penalties, I love a penalty shootout, but I've said it 100 times. Only if my team's not involved
Yeah,
in it.
exactly.
But see, last night when they were walking up, I thought to myself, these blokes don't fancy this. Look, but you did say, "Oh, our blokes' heads have gone down. Look, they don't
I
fancy
did.
it." You know,
I
didn't
thought they'd
see
gone
that.
down.
Do you know
gone down a
what?
bit.
And I think the manager mentioned that in his press conference afterwards. He actually had to go over to them because they said they were so annoyed about losing the
Did you?
equaliser.
Lost their
He
focus
said,
on that, yeah.
"Think about what's coming next.
Yeah.
Never mind what's gone.
Yeah,
Think about
exactly.
what's coming
the players,
next."
The players.
He
should
said,
be,
and I had to get them.
They should be. They.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 5 or 6 on the screen at the time.
Yeah.
And
They
I was
were
looking at
like
them and I
this. They
thought-
were like this
Yeah,
because
and I
they
said,
let the goal in.
said to you, didn't I? I said their heads are down. They need to get. Need to get out
But
of
what
that
I
now.
thought was
They
when
got a penalty shootout.
when like they were walking up, when Wimbledon were walking up, I thought, you just don't fancy this, mate. You can tell you can always tell when there's a lot of pressure on them. And talking about pressure, you think about McCrandall's going up to take another one after that shit
Gotta
penalty
have some
took in the
balls.
first
I
half.
know.
He has
Have some
got to be.
balls.
That's
And there's plenty of
immense
other
to do.
players that were available to
They
take a
could have
penalty.
taken that. Yeah, I mean, he must
But
have
when
asked to do
when
it.
you look at
Yeah.
the penalty takers pool, right?
Yeah.
His first game, defender
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah. Then you had Martin, defender.
Yeah.
Then you had Cargill, right? Connor. We had no striker hit a penalty.
No.
No.
No recognised striker.
But at the end of the day, I think justice was done.
And Gilby, so cool, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was a good
I
one.
think
He's great.
I've always said penalties is
He's
is
becoming
a,
my
is a, is a
favourite
skill,
player. He is.
Of course it is.
and it doesn't necessarily have to be strikers.
No.
Do you know the best penalty taker
Oh, go on.
I've ever seen? Believe it or not, Fat
Matt-
Boy Carl Robinson. Right, we were at Blackburn and we were practicing penalties. He hit the side netting every single
time I
time
get
without
knocked him.
foul.
He's put a lot of weight on, he has.
He's a monster.
He's
now.
massive,
Yeah,
isn't he?
his hair seems to be growing at the same rate as well. I don't know what that's all about.
He's a big fella.
But he's doing all right.
Yeah, good
He's
luck
doing
to
all
him.
right.
They
Beat
won
Peterborough
again.
2.
They won last night. Peterborough
1-0
haven't won a
twice.
game yet, have they?
Oh,
They've
well,
scored,
good luck
have
to
they?
them.
No, I don't think they have.
Good.
Yeah, shame, innit,
Oh
really?
no, they did. They scored. They didn't equalise the other day and then got lost 2-1 or something.
Did they? Oh, right.
Think-
Well, they still lost. That's the main
Right,
thing.
we can't put it off any longer. How big a load of wankers are they? Let's be honest. I can't see anyone else to say
Right.
that.
So,
I'm not surprised, but
so basically,
that is
about
what it is.
10 minutes or so, I spoke to somebody who were queuing up at the burger bar, and I had people in front of me, and then the steward came up, and I could see him talking to the person in front of me, and the next thing he took this person away into a quiet spot, and he started talking to this person. I thought, well, they've been up to no good, obviously. There was another 2 people with him who were actually in front of the queue waiting to get served. And I said, oh, is your mate in trouble? He said, no. He said, hardly. He said, it's the other way around. He said, we've just been attacked round at the AFC end.
Shall we put
And
allegedly
the
in for that? Just to be on the safe
No,
side.
he told me he was punched. The guy told me he was punched
Blimey.
by one of their fans. And the little kid was verbally abused because he had the kit on.
I'm not surprised. I mean, they are what they are.
And
This
that, was
is
from,
it,
that
this-
was from the guy.
And this is what people need to understand.
Yeah.
We're not talking about normal football rivalry here.
No.
We're not talking about
Rangers
abusing
Celtic.
each other.
Or-
And there was that thread on the concrete roundabout, and it's right. There are rules. There
It's
are
a different form of hatred.
Yeah.
You
and
don't-
it's
it's
Not a
nothing to
Rangers,
do with
Celtic, a
football.
Man United,
Yeah.
Liverpool.
It's
have
nothing
any
like
of
that.
It's,
It's
it's
nothing
not.
like that.
It's a
Do you?
completely different
I mean,
form.
who has a go at kids, for God's
Yeah.
sake?
But the thing is, they believe bizarrely
That they're in the
because no, they think it's all right to do it because of what happened. That's
Justification.
yeah,
They're
and
trying
no,
to justify it.
and there is going to come a point, and we're getting pretty close now, where people are saying, "Will you shut the fuck up?" You know.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but the whole fact that there are some of their fans on the internet today not only justifying what happened, but then in their warped imagination saying that it was our fault, somehow it's Milton Keynes Don's fault that one of their blokes has had a go at a child, somehow or another.
Well, this is the
That's
thing. This is
our fault.
This
I
is
mean,
the other thing.
that's done me.
I decided to stay out of that discussion. He said with the inverted
Inverted
commas.
commas, Tony's discussion.
That discussion about the reasons for the way that we had to travel when you didn't get your ticket so when you got on the coach you had to show ID, and did you get your ticket there and then, or were you allowed?
Well, we got our coach ticket and match ticket at the window of the booth at the stadium.
Yeah.
All run by the fast food outlets.
Yes,
Ah,
yeah,
right.
they got a little
yeah.
booth there,
Yeah,
and there
I
was,
know the
there,
one,
was
yeah.
there was Una and someone else, the young lad in there. I can't remember
Charlie.
his name. Yeah, he was. Both of them were serving as you came up. People had to show their license or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, because you was on the London coach last year, weren't you?
The first time I was on
First
the
time.
London coach.
So basically the same thing. You ID.
Yeah.
Show us your ID. You get on the coach. Because I tell you what last year I had someone who turned up without the person. There was two
that
of
he
them
was supposed to be with.
that he wasn't. And I said, I said you can get on. You can get on. No problem with that at all. But your friend, who clearly isn't the person who you bought the ticket for, can't come because it's not his ticket. And that's the thing, is that the as much as we dislike it, and everybody does, it makes it difficult for people in different parts of the country, or even not that far away, to get to a game.
It's also
that they
difficult
wanna
for
go
people
to.
that work.
I mean,
But the reality
surprise-
is, those are the sort of things. It's now been proven with that, and again,
it's actually a good idea.
that it
in
is actually a good
retrospect.
idea. Not only from the point of view that their people will actually do that to 5-year-old children, but at the same time, out of the element of our fan base who.
Oh, there
think it
are
would be
guys
hilarious.
here that
Yeah,
would, yeah.
and the thing is that they've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now. Our kids, our firm. Let's be honest, they're not very good at it. They haven't actually got into a fight yet, unless it's with themselves. But if they were allowed to travel on their own,
it would be terrible.
I dread to think what would happen to them, because that would never end well for our.
Well, we
fans.
said it. We had those lads on last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there was a bit. I cut a lot out of last week's podcast.
Only
but,
about 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were talking, and they were talking about. Let's just call this person a prominent AFC Wimbledon supporter.
Yeah.
And they were going on about it, and me and you, Tony, did say to them, don't engage with that guy. It's not funny. He's not doing it as a joke, or whoever it is. He's a fundamentalist, that guy, with the emphasis on the mentalist.
Do you know what? That is a great description. Fundamentalist.
He's a fundamentalist, Tony, that bloke.
And that's
But those young lads, they couldn't see how serious it was. And when I was telling them all the shit that he did to me once, you think, don't get involved with them. But that's what I don't think.
I mean, the club,
quite a lot of them understand. Like, I mean, who shouts at kids? For
our
God's
club,
sake?
our club didn't take it lightly. You know, it's costing them a lot of money. It's actually cost them a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot
It
of
must be a
man-hours.
tremendous
The
bollock,
police
all
man
that.
hours, they reckon it was about £50,000 police bill.
Well, this is what
which
I'm
we would have
thinking.
to probably share some of.
So if
Fucking
And
silly League Cup
the
first round, for
fact,
God's sake.
the fact that our club's done this,
Yeah.
you know, says a lot for them, because
And
they
you
could
still-
just say, "Oh, you can go on your own," and if
well,
you
this
want.
is that speaking to a few people at the club and
the
saying the
actual
same thing.
part
You know,
of us, the actual part
is-
of us actually getting to the ground from Milton Keynes on the bus, getting to the ground was absolutely brilliant. Best time ever, because we never had to go through the park. They dropped straight outside the ground, and we walked straight down the side of the little avenue, and then straight into the ground.
I mean, I did say last week that
the fact
be a
that what
mistake for me
happened,
to go.
definitely.
the fact that what happened was because someone got tickets from another source.
Yeah.
That's how it happened, basically.
See, I
There was
want
nothing to do.
to know if a player's got tickets from an opposing player.
There was quite a few people coming into the ground last night after all the coach people were in.
What, into our end?
Yes,
Right.
I could have counted probably 15, 20 people who came
I'd have
in,
been taking names,
and
I would
I kept thinking to myself, where are they coming from? How are they getting into the ground? So it's obviously complimentary tickets of some sort, right? Now, whether our club knew that was happening,
I would
or
be
whether it's
surprised
just between the players and the
in
friends who
retrospect.
got the
I mean, I'm
tickets,
talking
I
with the
don't know.
benefit of hindsight, but I would be surprised if,
And I actually,
like us as a club,
and I
we were
actually
aware of
thought, I don't know if you know about this, probably Tony. I actually thought that there wasn't many complimentaries given away now.
For a cup game, it's generally a lot less. Yeah.
No, but I didn't think. Did they still do it for players now? They still do it.
Oh yeah, for league games, there's this. There's an agreed amount between clubs, and you can give more if you want to, as long as the other club reciprocates.
Yeah.
And then there's wankers like Walsall who refuse to give you.
Now
any.
I don't know whether our player or players in inverted commas, I don't know whether they got them direct from AFC Wimbledon themselves, which is a possibility.
It's unlikely, if it was a family member of a player, it's unlikely that they wouldn't have got, had they asked for it and they were available, it's unlikely they wouldn't have been able to get a player's complimentary ticket. The only issue I would have with that is if they had players' tickets, generally they would be either A, at the player's entrance, which most stadiums have, or the away player's entrance, or the club reception.
What a breach of security, though, to let them
what you
walk
have
round
to think
into
about,
the away
yes,
end.
I mean, it's poor
and
considering that you're
But it has
saying
to be
spent
said,
50 grand on policing, and then they let a kid
that
wander.
responsibility has to lie with
Police
their
and
stewarding.
I'll
And
tell
the
you
police.
who's responsible for that. Who's responsible for it is the idiot that shouted at a kid. It's his responsibility. But having said that, that club, right up to the highest level, is a toxic brand. Because like I said earlier on, they interviewed Wally Downs twice like this week in The Guardian. Now, I've been reading The Guardian for well over 30 years, but there's an agenda there with that newspaper. There are season ticket holders. I know for a fact that there are Guardian sports writers that are also season ticket holders there. So there is an agenda there.
know one.
So fair enough, right. But they interviewed him, I was reading it this morning, after the game, and bloody Wally Downs, he's going like, oh, I treated it just another game. They're just another team. In fact, they're not even that. So you're thinking to yourself, hang on a minute, mate. You're a manager of a league club. I wouldn't even expect Neil Lennon to say something as wanky as that. I mean, well, I probably would, but it comes from the board. This shit, it just does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think their stupid guy with the appalling haircut. I mean, he's resigned, doesn't he? What's his name? Their bloke is no longer the chairman, so they got someone else. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm wondering now if the chairman that they've got is a bit more, let's just say, professional. And it's, I mean, they're a protest movement. They're not a football club. Everything they do is done through the prism of us. It just is. We define them as an entity. They just cannot let it go. Just get over yourselves. I mean, how many guys, Tony, am I going to have to block this week on Twitter after what I've just said? They'll be going mad.
But no,
Can you imagine them now?
What happened last night is the perfect example of a situation where any Dons fan who knows what happened and is fully aware, and there are some that don't, particularly young ones, but those of us who do know that what happened shouldn't have happened, and no club should be taken away like they were.
I remember, yeah. I remember these idiots coming up to people's houses where people live and people's streets and leaving little notes on their car.
I've heard that story firsthand.
Dave Martin's house was attacked.
Yeah. Leaving notes on the car. We know where you live. We know where you go. We know where you work.
Well, you've had the same.
Well, I've had them trying to find out where I live once. That freaked me out.
It's not. It's like we were saying earlier. You've got your Rangers, your Celtic, your Man United, Liverpool. You've got Arsenal, Spurs. That's different.
The Rangers Celtic
that's grown
thing.
men kicking the shit out of each other. That is not grown men abusing
the Rangers Celtic thing,
child.
Tony, is a different entity to football, because that's not a football. They use football as a convenient peg to hang on the fact that they hate one another's religion. That's what that is. They don't like us, Tony, because they've got some perceived injustice done to them by us. I mean,
personally,
they hate
personally
us personally. You
yes,
just think
exactly.
to yourself, you can't win for them. They're saying like, all this shit was like, oh, you're two club wankers and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't go to the game. And then when you don't go, it's, oh, look at that, they get no fans going. You think, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to not go, or do you want us to go? What's it to be? I mean, there was one guy on there I was reading on Twitter today, the shit he's writing, I was thinking to myself, do you genuinely believe that, or are you just like stupid?
That's the stupid
or
thing.
Are you trying to get the rise out of something? Because it was so blatantly stupid. He was like saying that we should have a points deduction, which I think's weird, anyway, because it was a cup game. We should have a points deduction for what happened last night, and it was completely our responsibility that one of their blokes thought that having a go at a child was all right. But that's somehow or another, it's our fault. You're a fucking idiot, mate. I'm sorry.
Do you know, it's almost akin to, and that word again, fundamentalism, and that's a very strong word.
Yeah, they
and
are
we're talking about people who have no...
There's not that many of them. I mean, there's a hardcore of them, and they do have a leader who, seriously, I'm thinking to myself that something, I don't know what you can do about him. Do you report him to Twitter? Do you report? I mean, some of the shit he says is illegal. It just is. I mean, he has said some stuff you think I wouldn't ever go up to someone in the street and say, you fucking paedophile, but they think it's okay to call our chairman.
They would do that.
Oh yeah, they would, without a doubt. But they think it's okay to post something on the internet accusing the chairman of a rival football club of being a paedophile. No, you can't. No.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that
no.
Exeter fan that...
and this is why, Tony, when we started this up again, I said I didn't know what to talk about them, because it just becomes all about
it's done.
them.
It's done. Saturday. One of our favourite away days.
Oh, I'm going.
Although I don't know why it's one of our favourite away days, because
it's one of the best days
is up a hill.
Getting in and out of it.
Getting in and out is shite.
The trick with that is to park.
The nearest pub is back down the hill, isn't it?
It's down the hill.
That's not that far. You can walk to that.
That's why
I've just driven past it to walk back to it.
That's why I've plumped for the coach.
You're on by coach now. We're going to drive. We always park in one of the housing estates and just walk through.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, if you get to the bottom of that round, or the roundabout at the bottom of that hill, there's
Yeah.
generally somewhere around there.
There's
But
lots of places to
it
park.
is
I'm looking forward to
genuinely
it.
one of the. I don't know why it's one of the better.
I think
away
they'll
days.
be in trouble this year.
They could well be.
Because they
could
were
well
lucky
be.
to stay up
Yeah.
last year.
What do we think score-wise then?
I
In fact,
reckon-
what do we think on? Pick a few names. Will Bowery start? And if he does, will it be with Agard?
I'm sure.
I think Barry will start.
Starting
I
back.
think this is what Tiz is going to go for all the
Well,
time.
I don't know.
Those two
See, this,
big man,
I
little
love
man.
the way he mixes it up and keeps you guessing. What about the centre backs? The three centre. If we go 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, however you want to look at it, or 3-5-1-1, or what do we think that those centre backs will be? Because we, as I said last
think
week, we're going to have this problem.
He'll set up
Very, very good problem.
the same
of
as he
5
did Saturday.
very good centre backs.
Yeah.
5 very good centre backs.
I think now that he's seen how Poole and Callum work together,
Yeah.
there could be an opportunity for Poole starting, but that means leaving GW out.
See, I think George creatively is probably better.
He's
And
not-
I mean, again, only going on what I've seen so far of Paul. But Paul did look decent
Oh,
in
he was
pre-season.
great.
He did look
he was
decent,
great.
and he was
He was
prepared to
brilliant
motor.
last night. He was brilliant.
Prepared to motor
Honestly.
down the wing as well.
He was brilliant last night.
Yeah. So, again, predicting Paul Tisdale's lineups is always a bit of a
Very
lottery.
difficult to.
And I do enjoy the challenge, but I generally get it wrong. I do want to see more of Bailey Cargill when he's fully fit, because I think he's going to be, if he can stay
What
fit
about
for
Reece
an
Healy,
entire
Tony?
season.
Impact sub, do you think?
I'll be
Played well last
surprised
night.
if we get that back three sorted and we can keep them together. Bailey Cargill, JMT, maybe Joe Walsh, maybe Russell Martin, maybe the fella whose name I've forgotten.
I'd go Russell
Paul.
Martin. He'd be my first pick for
Yeah.
centre.
So if we can
I
keep that,
mean-
I honestly can't see us conceding another goal if we keep that. all
Last
season.
night, Last night, Joe Walsh never played any part.
No.
George Williams never
George
played
didn't.
any part.
I seen him running up
so
down
you
the
would-
wing though.
You would think they'll start.
You would assume they'll both start
Yeah.
Saturday. They'll both start. Houghton was in the crowd with us last night.
Was it really?
Actually, there'll be three starters: Houghton, George, and Walsh.
Yeah.
Louis will probably start again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or maybe he might give Louis a rest.
Or
Right.
what do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think?
see
Well, who's
that.
going to play left back, or the
George.
wide left? George.
George Williams.
Yeah.
And he could play Poole.
What do you think about? Because I'm
He
convinced,
could play
and
Poole
Louis
and Callum.
being
He could
very
play
cagey on
Poole
it,
and-
but
Poole and Poole one's on the right, with
Yeah.
Callum just in front of him. George Williams on the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle, you could have Cargill, Walsh, and Martin. Yeah,
you're leaving out.
Not pushing Callum into midfield a bit.
Yeah. You see, I think Callum can do a job wide right or coming in there. What if you think? Do you think there'll become a point in the season where he might actually start Louis in that little hole?
No.
You don't think that?
No,
I think
I can't
I
see
think
that.
he'll
I
do
don't-
it during matches again, but I'm not too sure about him starting in that position. But
He can't play every game, for God's sake.
he can and he will. He can and he will.
I don't think he will.
I mean, we found out.
He
I was
wants
quite
to.
surprised that he
Probably
was
wants to,
35.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was 33.
He probably
He's
wants to.
35, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask for someone that's put the minutes in he has. But I reckon, like you, Tony, I reckon he'd go for it.
Yeah. There's nothing. I mean, he would.
I mean,
play.
he had a good rest a
He'd
couple of
play
years
in-
ago, didn't he?
Yeah, lovely.
Great
style.
old rest.
Yeah, that's how it came about that last night was his first time at AFC.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it was his first
yeah,
game.
yeah, he did. He was there when he was suspended. He
Well,
did.
the very
he was
first
physically
game,
there,
the
but-
very first game, he came into the crowd with George Baldock. Him and George Baldock were both injured.
They seemed quite pleased to see him last night, the old Wimbledon fans, didn't they?
Yeah,
very pleased. Yeah, well, it was a
Wally
good
and
reaction
him-
anyway.
Did you not see him and Wally have a little
Yeah, they would do because Wally would have been there.
at Wimbledon?
He
Yeah.
would have been, yeah, when he was a
he was
kid.
there
When
when
we
he was a
when
kid,
we were
kid.
them.
Yeah, when we were them. Yeah, I love that banner. Where were you when
You
you
were
were us and we were you and
Hang on a
you were
minute.
the-
Are you
yeah.
saying that we used to be you? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
that's
No,
saying?
see, you.
Yeah,
You were
they
never
said-
you.
Yeah,
You were us.
Yeah, they
or
said,
you,
how can you be us? And then they're saying, well, where were you when we were us?
You
yeah,
don't know
no,
about
we're you.
Yeah.
See,
We're
we're
what
talking
you
about
think
them
you
again,
are.
Tony.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Right, so come on, predictions then for Saturday.
1-0 to us. Another poor performance and a shit
I'm going.
pitch.
I'm
Callum
going,
will have a nightmare.
I'm going for 2-1. 2-1 at home. 2-1 away win. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
2-0. I'm going 2-0, and again a solid defensive performance. Although if Wheeler does play, he'll probably score.
We have the advantage of it being where it is, that we're not having to travel for the first couple of proper games, are we really?
Actually,
So
we've
that's
got some.
to help, hasn't
The
it?
fixtures have actually fallen quite. The only
Fallen
thing that
quite
worries
well.
me is Peterborough coming up,
And they haven't won.
and if they keep losing, someone's going to get a tank in at some point.
That'll be us.
It could coincide with playing us, of
Well,
course.
it's not far off, is it? We got Lincoln before them, haven't we?
Yeah.
After that, we got. Is it Wickham then Lincoln?
Wickham, Lincoln on
And
Tuesday,
then Peterborough.
It's very difficult to make. You can't.
And then
It's,
AFC again.
Yeah.
it's August, isn't it? You can't. You don't know how the season's going to shape up at this time of year. You just don't. It's not Man City and Liverpool. It's League 3. It's just you don't know how it's going to go. You just don't. Not
Well, from
until
what I've seen so
November
far,
time.
similarly to last season
Well,
with our defence, I'm very happy with that. The way the defence
Well,
is looking.
I must say, last night when I saw the team myself, I thought, crikey, how's that going to work? But really, I was very surprised and really happy the way
good.
that it worked. They really put in a good shift, and I'm really excited about Poole and Connor.
There's some very good,
Linking
very
up
good,
together,
very good
seriously.
players and very good combinations. And the thing is, we lost it last season with, although we got promoted, but those defensive problems were shown. And again, it's not about being defensively bad. Ask any football manager, and the season we got promoted to the Championship, the one thing that we had that every team needs for success is a spine that stays together for the season. So that's your two centre backs,
yeah.
your man in the middle, your number 10,
Your holder.
and one of your striker.
Yeah.
If you've got that, and we had Casey and Kyle pretty much all season.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
what
you
you
can
need,
hold that
definitely.
together for the whole season, those 2 or probably 3 players in our case,
That's why when we
if
get
they can play
promoted-
together every week, then it will all become just
When we had Swales
instinct.
and O'Hanlon,
They won't-
remember
They
them?
won't need to be told anything. It'll become
Giants, they were at the
second
backs.
nature.
Swales and
Yeah.
O'Hanlon. Constant.
Swales and O'Hanlon, and
Reliable
I think,
every
was it Martin Allen? Was it Martin Allen's season, or was it the season
O'Hanlon.
after?
He brought
When they said
Martin Allen brought Sean O'Hanlon.
yeah, and Carl said I think it was Carl actually
Fadge.
had Sean O'Hanlon, didn't he?
No.
Did he not?
No.
Did he have Boom? I can't remember. It. Someone one of the former managers
Nah,
said
Dunby was.
if we could have kept Sean
was
O'Hanlon
it Di
and
Matteo.
yeah, maybe it was then. But Sean O'Hanlon and Boom Boom together, that was a dream combination because they were just so worked off each
Yeah, they
other.
were good together.
They didn't even have to talk to each other.
No.
They just knew what they were going to do. If you can get that,
Yeah,
That's what you
McFadden and then we had Big Mackenzie.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Gary, fantastic
Forgot
example.
about him.
Yeah.
Headbutting people
Didn't
left,
wanna
right,
go.
and centre.
He's
I'd love to
there's
have
a
seen
man-
him at
there's a man who
Wimbledon,
didn't want to
Tony.
leave.
When some
Didn't wanna go to
headbutts there
Blackpool.
flying in.
Yeah, he did.
Right, we've recorded an
but-
hour and 10 minutes.
Right, well, that'll do then.
That'll do.
Right, my prediction, I said 2-0, did I?
2-0
Yeah,
we said.
2-1.
I said 1-0 was.
Done. Right.
Right.
We're all sorted. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Forgot to do the email last week, so if you've got anything you want to send us, mkdonsradioshow@gmail.com, and we will have a competition next week with a stupid question.
You can also get us on the Facebook page. Just search
Facebook.
for Sit Down and We'll See Your Club on Facebook and you'll find us there.
And Twitter is at SWOYSYC1.
Yeah, you'll find it.
And we're on YouTube as
We're all
well.
over the place.
We're all over it.
We've
We're
got a
over it.
social media presence, Tony.
We have, mate, we have.
Right, see you next week.
Ta-da.
Bye bye.
Actually, we should cut this out, actually. This is what I'm about to say.
I'm leaving it in.
They got absolutely beasted